Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to quickly show you how to make bread. It's a really simple thing to make, and one of the things I love about bread is something that many people actually get frustrated by it, and that's the time it takes to prove in between. But if you're actually at home anyway, like many of us are right now working from home, bread's ideal. You just set a timer. If, for example, you're getting the ironing done or cooking your meal or whatever, actually getting the bread done first, putting it to one side, you don't need to do anything with it. Sort of 5 minutes to get it initially ready, which you'll see right now. Put it to one side, hour and a half. It's doubled in size. You're just going to knock it back, turn it into your shape, whatever it is you're doing, around, along, into a bread tin if you want to, plait it, doesn't matter. You're going to let that rise another 30 minutes and then shove it in the oven. So it is very simple. It makes the house smell divine, it really does, and you can't beat fresh bread. So I'm going to just show you. What made me think about showing people bread at the moment is when I'm in the stores, there's literally no flours of any sort. It's quite funny. They're all gone, yet I know so many people don't necessarily know what to do with those breads. So I'm going to, or those flours I should say, I'm going to show you over the next week or so a variety of different breads or things that you can do with those different flours that are out there. We're going to do a whole heap of different things. We're going to make rice paper with rice flour and potato flour. We're going to, tomorrow actually, I'm going to show you how to make a gluten-free cake. That's, I know, one way of putting it, but in my house we just call it a squidgy cake and love it. It's so light with a chocolate mousse. I'm going to show you how to do that tomorrow, so there's no flour tomorrow. But we are going to also make a bread, an Argentinian one, using garbanzo flour, which is really nice, very easy and straightforward to do. So let's get going. Here we go. Flour. Now, it's about 2 pounds of flour if you're in UK. In America, go for 5 cups. And let me just get my 5 cups going in here. So I'm just, I'm not meant to be showing you the flour because I don't like to do that. I definitely prefer good flour. Was that 3? I think that's 4. I shouldn't talk, should I? That's an impossibility, by the way. 5, that one was slightly over because I know some of the other ones. So I've got my flour. I'm going to throw in my yeast now, which is just 2.5 teaspoons for this particular plain white loaf. And whoops, we're going to, I'm determined it's going to close, by the way. Throw in some salt. Now I could mix the water and the yeast and make it, let it become frothy. On this occasion, I'm not doing that, and the bread will still come out perfectly all right. And now, so there we go. That was the yeast and the salt falling, but I can see on the camera that you can see our yeast. We've got our salt. So I'm just going to mix that all around. Let me turn this around so I've got something better to hold. It's now all mixed nicely in, which is a really good idea with dried fast-acting yeast. If you're using fresh yeast, and quite a lot of your local bakers will be able to give you that, then that is slightly different, and you will want to put that in the water and start it that way. So now I'm going to add my water, which is just under a pint. It's about 15 fluid ounces, about 420 millilitres. You might want to check that. I don't want salt again, I want oil. Sorry. You don't need to put oil. in your bread, and I frequently actually, bread I'm making at home like this, which I make regularly, I actually put butter in. But butter is one more thing that is really not on the shelves, whereas I am still seeing oil around. So you can change the oil up. When I put rosemary in this recipe, I use olive oil. The two just complement each other. I'm going to try and tip this for you. Can we see that? The water, and yes, you can. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is literally mix it. If I was at home, I have glass bowls, so much easier. So I'm just mixing it all in. Here we go. Right. So all I'm trying to do now is get that water mixture, the fluids, into the dry ingredients, and I'm just going to tip it now out on the surface. I could keep going in the bowl, but I find it a lot easier just to get it out and get your hands in it, which is one reason why making bread works so well for children. They like getting their hands in. Now, don't leave any of the dough that's got wetness in it. We want all of that. So now it's all here, and you should be able to just start pulling it over. And when we need, we use heel of our hands. So we're just going to push away. Use your fingers, pull it over, push away. And as I do that, and I incorporate more of it in, so that I've got it, you'll really activate the gluten in the flour, which is good news. Now, you should be able to do it with one hand. I happen to have tense elbow right now, and my right arm as well. That has not stopped me making bread. I make it regularly, but it's going to thrill the kids when I get home. I end up at home with bread, having been up here at Pinny and Trowel at the lodge all day. So make sure that what's on the table, you're going to have some bits that will stick because they have got the liquid in. And we just want to shove that in the middle and down. So now it is just a case. That's what you should be able to do this. I'm just helping myself because this arm is, I would have to say, a tad sore. There we go. And the work surface is getting, because this is a little sticky, I'm able to move this all around. So actually my work surface is getting cleaner and cleaner. Obviously you need clean hands to do this. This is how dough gets very dirty, because if you've got dirty hands, you're going to get any of that dirt off. It's very good at cleaning dirty hands. So there we go. So you are literally pulling it over, pushing away, and then use your fingers to pull it over again. Push away. And if you turn it as you do it, push down, turn it slightly. So now I have got a nicely mixed bread dough. And this is the bit that normally gets people. Now you've got to admit that didn't take long. Now I could keep kneading this, and in actual fact the gluten would like that. And I'm just going to take a little bit of flour and put it over here. It is a little sticky and I don't want it to be. But what I'm actually going to do is put that into a bowl. And what I tend to do, let me put that in my lesson trolley there, is take the bowl that I had flour in. It's dry, remember. It hasn't really had anything in. And I literally just clean it out with a kitchen towel. And everything that's in there can come down onto the bread. And now I basically have a clean bowl. So I really don't want lots of washing up. If you've ever been in my house, you'll know washing up is a never-ending story. And now I can just put that quite hard, hear that, into the bowl. We're going to put a tea towel over it, although cling film, saran wrap is also very good, and it needs to be left for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you're in a cooler climate. We are not. It's pretty hot out there. Magically, it's like Blue Peter, isn't it? Here's one I did earlier. So you can then take this out, and you can see it's now deflating as I took it out. It has a very different feel to it, and it really smells nice as well. I'm just going to add a little bit more flour onto my butcher's block here. And what I'm going to do is just knock it back. Just by lifting it up, I deflated some of the air, but we are going to knock it back. And you literally can just make a fist and do it, says she, knowing this is about to hurt her right hand. Arm. There we go. So we can literally knock the air out. You could knead the air out if you wanted to, and bring it back to having a much firmer feel to it. So this you would then shape however you want to do it, and that might be in a round. You might want to actually put it in a bread tin. I just don't bother to put it in a bread tin, but a bread tin will force it to come higher and give you that nice top that you get. You could break it into 3 and plait it, but we are just going to, and the reason I'm pushing the flour out of the way is if it's on the bottom of my baking sheet, then it's going to burn in the oven. So I'm just going to make mine into happy. So magically I have a sharp knife. I quite like to put cuts across the top. They just look really nice when they're done. I don't always do it, but it will look nice. Now I'm going to leave that to actually also proof, and it will do it much more quickly than the one that we just started. The yeast is just waking up now, it's just getting going. This yeast is in full flight, if you like. So this won't take long, it will smooth out, and in 30 minutes I can put this in the oven. What I tend to do is set the timer for 30 minutes, and at 30 minutes I put the oven on to 425 Fahrenheit. No, I don't think I can translate that across for you. Maybe 250, I don't know. I can't translate it across, my brain's not working. To Celsius, but anyway, that then gives it about 40 minutes because the oven has to heat up, and I will then be able to put this in. For the sake of today, I obviously am not wanting you to have to wait an hour and a half while I just chat to you aimlessly for that first one, so I have one ready, and you have guessed correctly. We're going to take one out of the oven right now. And I didn't actually put a timer on, so we're winging it a bit here. But here we go. There is one coming out of the oven. And I'm just going to, we're going to see if it's ready. Wire rack here. Using a tea towel, it is hot. So what you want, I'm going to bring that nearer to the microphone. When I tap it, I want that hollow sound. That tells you it is. Now this loaf obviously is nowhere near as big as that one there is, and that's because what I did was make one batch before, and then I took a small part of it. So this bit and that bit makes the full loaf, so much bigger. But making a little loaf is not a problem. And it shows you the lovely colour. Obviously this one I did not put lines in. There you go. It didn't take long to make the bread. It's fresh, it's delicious, and if you're at home anyway, there are so many things that you could be doing. And even if you're on a call these days, we frequently can be on our phone and things. So we're still able to mute the call and go and deal with the bread. If you've got a mixer,